There comes a point when you look at the stress, the chaos, the endless bills, the safety concerns, the broken systems, and the pressure of just trying to survive in America. And you start to wonder whether this is really the best the world has to offer you. Because the truth is uncomfortable. For millions of people, the American dream feels more like an exhausting endurance test than a lifestyle. And while the US prides itself on opportunity, freedom, and choice, the Global Quality of Life Index keeps exposing something America hates to admit. Other places are doing it better. In this video from Virtual Travel by Brian, we're diving into 10 countries that will treat you better than America ever could. And the reasons might frustrate you, surprise you, or even motivate you to rethink everything. From stronger healthcare abroad, fairer work abroad standards, and better safety, to smarter cost of living structures, upgraded social stability, and more humane cultural differences, these destinations are rewriting what everyday life should feel like. No hype, no fantasy, just real-world relocation tips, travel tips, and expat life insights most Americans never hear. If you're serious about living abroad, curious about international living, or searching for the best immigration and education abroad options for a better future, stay locked in. Your next chapter might be waiting in places you never expected. Now let's get into the countdown, starting with number 10. Before we continue, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more life-changing insights from Virtual Travel by Brian. Number 10. United Kingdom. Let's start this countdown with a country Americans love to clown for its weather, its royal scandals, and its national obsession with tea. Yet somehow, Americans keep moving there in droves. And honestly, it makes sense. Because for all its quirks, the United Kingdom quietly offers a much softer, more cushioned version of life than the US ever tries to provide. First, the obvious. Language. Moving to a new country can be stressful. But moving somewhere you don't have to learn a dozen verb conjugations just to order lunch? Beautiful. That's exactly why the UK remains one of the top destinations for US expats. People love to say British and American cultures are basically the same, and while that's debatable, it's similar enough that you won't be culture shocked into a coma on day one. Then there's the National Health Service. The NHS, the punching bag of British politics, and the envy of millions of uninsured Americans. Yes, Brits complain about it non-stop, but here's the twist. Their terrible system still covers everyone, prevents medical bankruptcy, and won't charge you $12,000 for stepping into an ambulance. On top of that, worker protections are taken seriously. Paid vacation is a legal right, maternity leave is actually a thing, and employers can't fire you just because your boss woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Revolutionary, right? And let's talk quality of life. Cities like London, Manchester, and Birmingham offer world-class opportunities in finance, arts, tech, healthcare, education, you name it. But the real charm hits when you leave the big cities. That's where you find the smaller towns with community, safety, walkability, and living costs that won't vaporize your entire paycheck. The real kicker? Legal protections. In the UK, being an employee, a tenant, or even a patient comes with clearly defined rights that actually mean something. In many parts of the US, those same protections feel more like suggestions. In Britain, they're obligations, backed by consequences. It's almost like the system is built with actual humans in mind. So yes, the UK has flaws. Yes, the sun is a rumor. And yes, the food debates alone could start an international incident. But when you stack up healthcare, worker rights, stability, and long-term livability, the UK effortlessly proves why so many Americans pack their bags, cross the Atlantic, and don't look back. And that's why it lands at number 10 on our list of places that will treat you better than America ever could. Number 9. Singapore. Stepping into Singapore feels less like entering a country and more like walking into the future that America keeps promising but never actually builds. Everything here is ultra-safe, ultra-modern, and ultra-connected. The kind of place where even the subway stations look cleaner than the average American hospital. And no, that's not an exaggeration. It's Singapore. Let's start with safety, because this place takes it to a level that feels almost unreal. Singapore ranks among the top 5 most peaceful and safest countries in the world, according to both Vision of Humanity and World Population Review. Crime here is so low you could forget your laptop at a cafe, go home, Sleep 8 hours, come back, and it'll still be sitting there, untouched, unbothered, and probably watched by 3 cameras just in case. Their strict enforcement works, and residents actually walk around with peace of mind instead of the constant mental threat assessment Americans are used to. Then there's the standard of living, which is basically Singapore saying, we don't do mediocre. High incomes, world-class infrastructure, elite schools, spotless streets, and an airport, Changi, that makes every other airport on Earth look like a crisis center. Even their greenery looks like a CGI render. Singapore doesn't play. And here's where things get wild. Global mobility. Singapore's passport is currently ranked number 1 in the world for visa-free travel access, as reported by The Washington Post. That means Singaporeans can literally stroll into more places with ease than anyone else on the planet. Meanwhile, Americans are still out here begging embassies like they're applying for a loan. What really separates Singapore, though, is how the system actually works for ordinary people. We're talking hyper-efficient public services that respect your time, low crime, excellent public transit, and world-class healthcare that doesn't require a decade of debt to access. The level of organization is so high that daily life feels intentional, not chaotic. You're not constantly bracing for danger, medical bankruptcy, or infrastructure failures every 5 minutes. In short, Singapore offers the neat, predictable, well-run society that many Americans secretly dream of but rarely experience at home. And that's exactly why it earns the number 9 spot on our list of countries that will treat you better than America ever could. Number 8. Ireland. There's something almost poetic about Ireland landing on this list, a country that feels like the perfect halfway point between America's fast-paced individualism and Europe's take a breath, life isn't supposed to be this hard approach to living. Think of it as the soft landing Americans didn't know they needed. Let's talk peace and safety, because Ireland is not playing around. According to Vision of Humanity, Ireland consistently sits near the very top of the Global Peace Index, right behind Iceland, and MoneyWeek places it among the safest countries you can visit. Translation? You're not glancing over your shoulder every 5 minutes, calculating exit routes, or doing the mental safety math Americans do automatically. Ireland gives you the gift of simply existing without fear, a luxury many people don't realize is a luxury until they feel it. Then there's healthcare, and the Irish system is no joke. CEO World ranks Ireland's healthcare in the global top tier, with high-quality outcomes and respected medical institutions. Is it perfect? No healthcare system is, but you're far less likely to face the American experience of getting stitched up and then receiving a bill that looks like you accidentally purchased a small yacht. Now let's get into community and lifestyle, 2 things Ireland absolutely nails. Smaller cities like Cork, Galway, and Limerick offer a strong sense of belonging, walkable streets, cozy cafes, and neighborhoods where people actually know each other. And because there are plenty of English-speaking expats, you won't spend your first year fumbling through conversations like a confused tourist. You can slide into Irish life without reinventing yourself from scratch. Where Ireland truly outshines the US is in how it treats its people. There's less extreme inequality, drastically lower gun violence, and a level of social cohesion that makes everyday life feel less like a battlefield and more like, well, life. You're not one emergency away from financial collapse. You're not drowning in stress disguised as freedom. You're not surviving, you're living. Ireland may not have America's skyscrapers, endless highways, or 24/7 everything, but what it does have is stability, safety, affordability, community, and sanity. And that's exactly why it sits proudly at number 8 on this list of countries that will treat you better than America ever could. Number 7. Australia. Australia is what happens when you take California, remove the chaos, lower the stress, crank up the wages, add universal healthcare, sprinkle in beaches that look photoshopped, and then say, yeah, mate, everyone gets a fair shot here. It's the sunny, spacious, drama-free version of American living. And yes, that's exactly why it lands at number 7. Let's start with the quality of life and safety, because Australia doesn't just score high, it regularly dominates. The New York Post and Preply place Australia among the best countries to live in and one of the safest destinations for both travelers and residents. You won't see people sprinting across parking lots clutching their keys like self-defense weapons, and you definitely won't be hearing about weekly mass shootings. Australia said, "Not on my continent," and honestly, respect. Next up, work opportunities. The economy here is strong and stable, especially in healthcare, tech, education, mining, engineering, and the trades. Vanguard News highlights Australia's consistent demand for skilled workers, which is partly why so many American expats already call it home. You'll meet them everywhere, usually talking about how they planned to stay for 6 months and somehow ended up staying for 6 years. That's the Australia effect. And the healthcare and social supports? That's where the contrast really hits. Australia's Medicare system ensures universal healthcare. World Population Review points out the country's strong worker protections, legally enforced labor standards, and public services that do what they're supposed to do: support people, not drain them. You're not terrified of getting sick. You're not negotiating with your employer for basic dignity. You're not working yourself into dust just to afford survival. What really makes Australia stand out, though, is how it treats you better on a daily basis. We're talking higher minimum wages, lower gun violence, relaxed social energy, and cities designed around outdoor living. Parks, beaches, bike paths, waterfronts, and public spaces that you don't have to pay to enjoy. It's a place where people actually go outside, breathe fresh air, and enjoy their lives without feeling guilty about it. Wild concept, right? Sure, Australia has its quirks. Giant spiders, kangaroos that will square up like boxers, and slang so chaotic it sounds like a different language. But when you compare the lifestyle, the safety, the income, and the healthcare to what Americans deal with daily, the difference is almost comedic. And that's exactly why Australia lands confidently at number 7 on our list of countries that will treat you better than America ever could. Number 6. Canada. Canada is basically the United States on easy mode. Same language, same general vibe, same fast food chains, just without the constant feeling that life is trying to beat you in the face with a frying pan. It's no surprise, then, that Canada has become one of the top destinations for American expats. And William Russell even highlights it as a major expat magnet thanks to its safety, healthcare, environment, and political stability. In other words, it's familiar enough to feel comfortable, but stable enough to feel like an upgrade. Let's talk healthcare, because this alone is enough to make Americans weep. Canada's universal healthcare system isn't flawless. No system is, but World Population Review makes it clear. It guarantees coverage. No GoFundMe for hospital bills, no $7,000 ambulance rides, no financial trauma just for getting sick. In Canada, needing medical care doesn't feel like a bankruptcy threat. It's part of existing, as it should be. Next up, quality of life. Canada has consistently ranked high in livability, lifestyle, and long-term well-being. Sure, it's dipped in a few rankings recently. Preply points that out. But even with a slight slip, it still beats a good chunk of the world and offers strong safety and environmental quality. Clean air, clean streets, clean cities. You can walk around without feeling like every decision is a potential life or death gamble. Now let's get into how Canada actually treats you better day to day. The gun violence rate is dramatically lower, and that alone reshapes how safe life feels. Consumer protections? Stronger. Tenant protections? Much stronger. Depending on the province, landlords can't just evict you because they're bored or want to remodel. Immigration pathways? More open, more logical, and way less intimidating than the US system. Canada isn't perfect, but it undeniably tries harder to treat people like humans instead of background characters in a national stress documentary. And that brings us to the emotional truth. Life in Canada just feels easier. Fewer disasters, fewer extremes, fewer only in America headlines. People are polite, almost aggressively so. Public services generally function, and communities tend to be safer, calmer, and more stable. Yes, the winters will punch you in the soul. Yes, the moose are terrifying. Yes, the poutine will test your cholesterol. But when you compare the healthcare, the safety, the protections, and the everyday peace to life in the US, the math becomes obvious. And that's why Canada sits firmly at number 6 on this list of countries that will treat you better than America ever could. We're halfway through the countdown. If you are enjoying the video so far, hit the like button, subscribe to Virtual Travel by Brian, and ring the notification bell for more informative content. Let's get back into it. Number 5. Norway. Norway is what happens when a country strikes oil, looks at the money, and instead of handing it all to billionaires says, let's use this to improve everyone's life. A shocking concept, I know. Norway took its natural wealth and turned it into world-class public services, jaw-dropping quality of life, and a society so peaceful you'll start questioning every stressful habit you picked up in the US. Let's start with the standard of living, because Norway doesn't just do well, it dominates. It ranks in the top 10 globally across multiple indicators like the Human Development Index and the Quality of Life Index. You feel it the moment you land. Calm, clean, efficient, expensive, but worth every penny. It's the kind of place where even the public bathrooms feel like they have a higher GDP. Then there's safety and peace, Norway's signature flex. It consistently sits among the safest nations on Earth and lands in the elite tier of the Global Peace Index. That means no constant background anxiety, no active shooter drills for kids, no nightly news filled with madness. Walking around at night? Normal. Trusting strangers? Reasonable. Norway feels like the adult version of society, the one America keeps promising to become someday. Now on to the healthcare and welfare state, the Nordic masterclass. Norway runs on universal healthcare, strong unemployment benefits, paid parental leave, and social services that actually make life easier instead of more complicated. The system is built on a simple principle. People function better when they aren't living in fear of medical bills, job loss, or financial disaster. Revolutionary, right? Where Norway truly shines is in how it treats you better on a daily basis. The crime rate is low, the cities are clean, and the environmental protections are some of the strongest in the world. People trust the system because the system works. Public transit is reliable, salaries are high, and work-life balance isn't just a slogan, it's deeply cultural. You're meant to have a life outside of work. You're meant to rest. You're meant to touch grass, literally. And let's not forget the emotional upside. The calm. Life in Norway is dramatically less chaotic than in many US cities. Fewer emergencies, fewer extremes, fewer situations that feel like they're straight out of a disaster movie. Norway feels stable, safe, predictable, in the best way. So yes, Norway is expensive. Yes, winters will test your spirit. But when you stack the safety, the healthcare, the income, and the peace of mind, the conclusion is obvious. That's why Norway proudly takes the number 5 spot on this list of countries that will treat you better than America ever could. Number 4. Denmark. Denmark is the country that proves a wild, controversial, almost unbelievable idea. Taxes can actually come back to you in the form of real benefits. Yes, benefits you can see, touch, use, and brag about on social media. If you've ever wondered what life looks like in a place where the government treats people like actual humans instead of afterthoughts, welcome to Denmark. Let's start with happiness, because Denmark doesn't just dabble in joy, it dominates it. According to People.com, Denmark consistently ranks in the top 3 happiest countries in the world and sits comfortably in the upper tier for standard of living. Happiness here isn't measured in luxury cars or overtime hours. It's measured in stability, free time, mental health, social trust, and knowing your country won't let you face every problem alone. Now on to healthcare and welfare, the heart of the famous Nordic model. Denmark's system is often called the gold standard, and Nordic HQ highlights its broad coverage, high public funding, and ease of access. Need a checkup? Covered. Need treatments? Covered. Need specialist care? Still covered. It's healthcare without the anxiety attacks, a concept that feels almost fictional if you're used to American hospital bills. As for safety, Denmark shines again. World Population Review puts it among the safest nations globally, with low violent crime rates and impressively high levels of social trust. You can walk home at night without rehearsing escape plans. Kids can play outside without the background panic. Life in Denmark feels calm, predictable, secure. 3 words Americans rarely get to use together. Where Denmark really stands out is in how it treats you better every single day. Worker protections are strong, paid parental leave is generous, and the commitment to work-life balance is almost sacred. People actually use their vacations. All of them. Burnout isn't celebrated. Overworking isn't glamorized. And nobody treats exhaustion like a personality trait. Even more impressive, the financial edge is softened. Between free healthcare, subsidized education, social support, and stable wages, the average Dane isn't waking up every morning wondering which bill will take them out this week. The system is designed to prevent constant crisis, not create it. Yes, taxes are high. Danish people will tell you that themselves. But unlike in many places, they actually get something back for what they pay. And those benefits create a lifestyle where security, balance, and happiness aren't luxuries. They're normal. That's exactly why Denmark earns the number 4 spot on our list of countries that will treat you better than America ever could. Number 3, Netherlands. The Netherlands is that country that doesn't brag, doesn't shout, and doesn't flex. It just quietly lives better than almost everyone else. It's chill, bike-friendly, effortlessly organized, and casually wealthy. In other words, the Netherlands is what Americans call goals. Except here, it's just normal life. Let's start with the quality of life, because the Dutch aren't just doing well, they're out here setting the standard. According to Numbeo and World Population Review, the Netherlands consistently ranks near the very top of global quality of life and standard of living lists, with recent analyses placing it among the top 3 worldwide. This is a country where people work reasonable hours, enjoy their weekends, have universal health care, and still manage to look like they just stepped out of a lifestyle magazine. And then there's the safety and inclusivity factor. According to the New York Post, the Netherlands has been named the safest travel destination for 2026, thanks to its strong ratings in health, stability, and inclusivity. You can walk around without clutching your belongings like a paranoid tourist, and you won't feel like every stranger is a potential threat. Social cohesion is real here, not a fantasy. Healthcare? The Dutch have that perfected too. International Citizens Insurance ranks the Netherlands among Europe's best for access, equity, and outcomes. The system is efficient, accessible, and designed to keep people healthy without financially destroying them. You pay, you get care. Simple, fair, humane. A refreshingly foreign concept to a lot of Americans. Now here's where the Netherlands really starts showing off. How it treats you better. The tenant protections are strong. Public transit is clean and reliable. Cycling infrastructure is world-class, meaning you can get around quickly, affordably, and without feeling like your life is constantly in danger. Even residency for skilled workers is relatively straightforward compared to most countries. The Dutch government likes talent, and they make it known. The everyday experience? Calm, predictable, safe. You're not stuck in endless traffic. You're not dodging violent neighborhoods. You're not dealing with public services that operate like they're held together with duct tape. Life here just functions, and functions well. And here's the kicker. Nobody in the Netherlands thinks their way of life is extraordinary. To them, it's just the standard. But when you compare it to the constant stress, inequality, chaos, and unpredictability of life in the US, the difference is so dramatic, it almost feels like satire. That's why the Netherlands holds the number 3 spot on this list of countries that will treat you better than America ever could. Number 2, Switzerland. Switzerland is what happens when a country collectively agrees that chaos is unnecessary, stress is optional, and everything, yes, everything, should run on time. It's the nation equivalent of a perfectly organized closet, clean, precise, and deeply satisfying. If you're tired of life feeling like a daily survival test, Switzerland is the upgrade you didn't know you needed. Let's start with quality of life, because the Swiss take this concept very seriously. According to Visual Capitalist, Switzerland is regularly ranked near the top of global quality of life and standard of living indexes, right alongside heavyweights like Norway and the Netherlands. People here enjoy excellent wages, remarkable public services, clean cities, and a general sense that life is supposed to function, and function well. Then there's peace and stability, 2 things Switzerland treats like national treasures. Vision of Humanity consistently lists Switzerland among the most peaceful countries in the world, sitting securely in the top group on the Global Peace Index. This is not a country where you worry about violence, political drama, or systemic meltdown. It's calm, stable, and almost suspiciously orderly, in the best possible way. The standout flex, though? Healthcare. Switzerland doesn't just have good healthcare. It has the #1 ranked healthcare system in the 2024 World Index of Healthcare Innovation, according to freeop.org. That means outcomes, access, efficiency, medical innovation, all top tier. You're not negotiating with insurance companies fearing medical bankruptcy or Googling symptoms at 2 a.m. because you're scared of a surprise $8,000 bill. You get what you need, and it works. But the real magic of Switzerland is in how it treats you better every single day. Worker protections are robust. Public services are predictable. Violent crime is incredibly low. Cities are spotless and efficient. Trains run with precision. Infrastructure doesn't collapse randomly. The entire country feels like it's been engineered to reduce stress, not create it. You're never one crisis away from disaster. And that alone feels revolutionary compared to the American baseline. And honestly, the lifestyle here, it's peaceful, healthy, and balanced. People have time off. They enjoy nature. They walk without fear. They live without being crushed by system-induced anxiety. Switzerland doesn't just give you a better life, it gives you a better version of yourself. That's exactly why Switzerland lands at #2 on this list of countries that will treat you better than America ever could. #1, New Zealand. Topping this entire list is the country that feels like it was handcrafted specifically for people who are tired of stress, chaos, noise, danger, political madness, and the American lifestyle of sleep when you're dead. New Zealand is the polar opposite of all that. Calm, clean, peaceful, and unusually good at helping people live healthier, happier, slower lives without feeling guilty about it. Let's start with quality of life and safety. Because New Zealand doesn't just perform well, it outperforms entire regions. Global Finance magazine ranks it among the most peaceful countries in the world, with top scores in societal safety and minimal conflict. No, it's not a utopia, but compared to the daily adrenaline roller coaster of many US cities, this place feels like a therapeutic retreat. Then there's the life-work balance, and this is where New Zealand truly embarrasses the competition. According to Remote, New Zealand is ranked #1 in the world for work-life balance in 2025. Higher minimum wage, fewer working hours, more vacation time, and a culture that legitimately expects you to shut your laptop, touch grass, and go live your life before the sun disappears. Workaholism is not a badge of honor here. It's a sign you need therapy. On top of that, you get strong public health care, clean air, breathtaking natural environments, and a society that puts real effort into mental well-being. Outdoor living is practically a national religion. Hiking, beaches, lakes, mountains, you name it, it's all there. And it's not limited to a certain elite neighborhood. Nature is everywhere, accessible and integrated into everyday life. Where New Zealand really stands out is how it treats you better. Gun violence? Dramatically lower. Political hostility? Minimal. Daily stress levels? Practically deflated. The culture is laid back, friendly, and non-confrontational. For many Americans, especially Black professionals, creatives, and families seeking peace, New Zealand is the first place where they truly feel like they can breathe. No constant tension, no hypervigilance, no social pressure cooker every time you go outside. New Zealand won't fix every problem in your life, but it will remove enough chaos that you finally have the mental clarity to deal with the rest. It's peaceful, stable, humane, and built for actual humans, not endless profit and burnout. And that's why New Zealand proudly claims the #1 spot on this list of countries that will treat you better than America ever could. If you enjoyed this countdown, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more eye-opening travel and relocation insights from Virtual Travel by Brian.